At UFC 295, Bill Burr's wife, Nia Renee Hill, showed her disdain for the former president, Donald John Trump. Many agreed with her act. Tons in the stadium would feel the inverse to her double bird. Making a grand entrance with UFC president and domestic abuser Dana White, a man seen on video striking his wife multiple times, the UFC has gleefully fulfilled its role in helping Donald Trump politically. It's an even trade. White, who claims to not be a political person, sits with Trump cage side, and Trump curries favors to the UFC boss. By their side is former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, who, even with the help from Elon Musk, is failing to garner attention on X. In addition, a man who uses a firearm on Bud Light, Kid Rock, who is 52, accompanied the MAGA men as well. Those who choose to think critically and not follow in lockstep with these antics are able to see through the propaganda an entire sports organization is funneling to the masses. Others become elated at the sight of Trump, Carlson, and company in attendance at the UFC's events. A public figure who calls out the monstrosity that is Dana White.
Over the weekend, Dana White, because Disney is woke, Stugat. In Florida, Disney is too woke. Dana White, in partnership with Disney, goes to the fights with Trump and Kid Rock and Tucker Carlson. It's Kid Rock and it's Donald Trump.
That's like the white supremacy Avengers.
In the case of Dana White, can now use Disney as a tool because he's got so much power over this.
Dan Le Batard, of course. He also calls out the hypocrisy of ESPN. Specifically, I'll say it, President Jimmy Pitaro, who once said this:
the more we lean into politically charged commentary, the more we are alienating not just our core fan, but our casual fan.
Essentially stating ESPN is staying out of this realm when they are not.
They made a deal with Dana White and with the UFC, and Dana White chooses to walk into the fights with who he chooses to walk into the fights with.
But you got out of politics pretty good. You got out.
Yes, you did.
You got out of politics after George Floyd, after sending corporate statements that were, suggested that you weren't going to be in this business. And now you are, whether you want to or not, because you can't control his production company because he runs the whole thing and he can flout it in your face with Disney's backing.
Le Batard would go on to say, you've gone into business with a production company that produces its own material. I cannot explain to you how much power Dana White has over everything that he's executing, both at ESPN and in a sport where Vince McMahon just cashed out. He'd add more to his diatribe on Meadowlark Media by stating this: in Florida, Disney is allegedly too woke, but here they are in bed with the person who's governing the sewer, and the sewer disposes of these athletes in a way that profits him a great deal. And also, he controlled job politically, publicly, with Disney's backing. They would also discuss how Kid Rock aligning with Tucker Carlson, giving interviews to Fox News, aligning with Donald Trump, dog whistling for Donald Trump, being involved with the Bud Light fiasco was the best thing to happen to Kid Rock in well over a decade, and they're right.
The reason I just pointed out to you is just to marvel that in 2023, Stugotz, to legitimately marvel at it, there is a lane for I'm going to be all-powerful counterculture white guy who answers to no one, and I'm going to win at the fighting sport.
As we have talked about many times, when it comes to the ongoing litigation, when it comes to the rev share, Dana White does not care about those who make him the most. It is a simple A to B. He cares that they pass a physical. At the end of the day, they are just a pawn in Dana White's game to enrich himself and the Fertitta brothers.
The Fertitta brothers, Stugotz, have made so much money off of everything this is, which is controlling the fighters and using them, paying them abhorrently, throwing them in the body machine mill, and then making money that helps Disney and helps him and Vince McMahon get rich while he's drunkenly playing at blackjack tables, stacked chips, stacked grotesquely high because he can, speaking at the Republican National Convention, and now arming a fan base of, I mean, these are knuckle draggers that I have fought for a long time, Stugotz, because I haven't respected the mixed martial arts enough. This undercurrent of this is the safe space for our people, and we're going to cater to it, and we're going to become more and more powerful, all powerful, where he's running the ability to produce what ESPN is putting on its airwaves, Stugotz. Very few people have that power.